Hello everybody and welcome back to my sensational playthrough of Vergil's Downfall on Vergil Must Die difficulty. This fight that you start off in is pretty hard not to take damage on. I admittedly tried far too many times to get this footage the way I wanted it. It's not to say that I set anything up, but it's just... it takes a bit of effort, honestly. This is just how it goes. The two wisps at the start can either be really cooperative or really not fucking cooperative at all. So you've got that to deal with, and then you're also dealing with quite a few of the elite Stygians, the ones who can do that really annoying quake attack that'll catch you out when you're not expecting it. But thankfully I think this fight goes alright. Yeah, and here we have another wisp and a few more. Yeah, you have two wisps and you have a bunch of the Stygians. And as much as you might groan inwardly when the enemy spawn starts up and 3 wisps come in, or 2 wisps, or even just 1 wisp, or it's an imprisoner, you start to feel... actually, scratch that on the imprisoner, just the wisps, because that's the only exclusive enemy that I really like in this DLC. When a wisp shows up and you go, I've noticed that when I've been playing the PC version, and in the PC version I've been playing the Bloody Palace with Vergil, unfortunately you can't have the DLC enemies in the Bloody Palace. It's just the Bloody Palace uses the main game enemy files, and if you try to put one of the other enemies from Vergil's DLC into the Bloody Palace, like where it draws all of its enemy files from, it just doesn't do it. You try to spawn them, but nothing happens. It just like loads the next wave, which is unfortunate because, as I was saying before, whenever I see a wisp pop up, I sort of go, but then at the same time, I feel very much like I am missing out on a distinct level of the experience that you get when you play as Vergil. And playing without the wisps, playing without the imprisoners, as much as I hate them, I think kind of detracts from playing the PC version, and it's the reason why occasionally, even though it is technically easier for me to record and the game runs heaps better on PC, and I even have the Bloody Palace, I will go back to the Xbox version every once in a while just to play the main game, and I play on the Xbox version because it's just where I go home to play. You know, I feel kind of weird playing the main missions because I play my games in my room, and my tower isn't actually in my room, it's in the family room with everybody else, and I can't fucking concentrate when everybody else is out there. So the thing that I have to do is I sit in my room with my TV and I play the first 6 missions over and over again, and I love the wisps now. Like, I mean, they're not great. Sometimes they can catch you off guard, but it really does feel like there's something missing when you play as Vergil in an updated version of the Bloody Palace, or just the normal version of the Bloody Palace, and there's no wisps. It's weird, because in your mind you're just like, alright, when are the wisps coming out? But they never come out, and I'm not sure it's even going to be possible to get them to come out, because I do have a friend, and he is a subscriber of mine, and I'm a subscriber of his, actually. That's the way to put it. He is very good at this game. He has about 3 times as much hours in it on the PC version as I do. He has about something like 750 hours now, and he is responsible for a large majority of the modding that went on into getting the Bloody Palace playable, removing the timer, changing the Vergil boss battle recently, which is something that I will talk about in the Mission 5 video. But it's also been responsible for, and I want you to listen to this carefully, being able to get your weapons, your elemental weapons in, as Dante or even as Vergil, to ignore the color coding, which is one of the big issues that I had with the main game, which I didn't really notice the first time I went through, and we were discussing this the other day. I didn't notice this the first time I went through, like the color coding wasn't really so bad on the lower difficulties, but once you get to especially Dante Must Die, having to be restricted to angel weapons to take down angel rages and angel knights, they're not fun anymore. And what makes it especially horrible is that when you hit them with a weapon that's not appropriate to their color, you rebound off them, which just completely breaks the flow of the combat. And I could talk about this for a good while, but that's another reason why I love this DLC, because it has removed all of the color-coded enemies, because Vergil actually doesn't have any color-coded attacks. It's funny because when he gets put into the Bloody Palace, he actually, with the standard wave enemies, he can't damage the Hell Knights and he can't damage the, what are they called, the Blue Knights or the Angel Rages or the Hell Rages, whatever, because none of his attacks have those attributes that Arbiter and Osiris and Aquila and everything have, which is a sign that Ninja Theory, the developer that made this game, obviously thought about the fact that, well, maybe it wasn't such a good idea. It's exactly that kind of logical thinking that makes me believe that Ninja Theory is capable of learning. They listened to what people wanted, and they couldn't exactly just go back on everything that they'd said already and everything that they'd put into the game by, having the color-coded enemies, because to an extent they do play a role, but it's not all that fun. And it's one of those things that really bugs me when people criticize, especially this DLC, for things like the cinematics, the comic style, kind of cheap, budgety looking animated shorts that go in between the missions. Because obviously the department who did the DLC didn't have all that much funding, and I don't know, it's the story, and the story, I think, in the DmC, the main game, wasn't too bad. I did like a certain few of the aspects, and I did like some of the foreshadowing they had with Vergil and Dante, and the people who said that the fact that Vergil was evil come out of nowhere are fucking idiots, but more on that another day. But it makes me wonder who comes to a Devil May Cry game with their sights set on an amazing story. Who? You tell me, who ever played the last 4 Devil May Cry games, especially the fucking 4th one, who ever came to play Devil May Cry for an amazing story? It's always been cheesy, it's always been a little melodramatic, and this one's not really much different. And that's going to garner a little bit of hate from the people who loved all the old stories and think this one's utter shit. But when Ninja Theory gives the players something like this, like an entirely new character to play as, with 6 great missions, with levels that look absolutely fantastic. I'm just looking at this now, actually. There's storms going on in the background, there's just pieces of rock flying everywhere, and the battles look visually amazing. They feel amazing. They sound amazing. The sound design is fantastic on this game. Even with Vergil, it doesn't sound like there's much of a soundtrack, like the first few times you play through it, but then you realise that, you know, certain sounds, like the sound of like an anvil being pounded, is only present on, you know, S rank or above, and you know, it just amps up and you get into this rhythm and it feels great. But I apologise for not talking much about what's been going on, because this level is actually very difficult for me to do no damage, and it's just it's a long level. It's actually very long, because there are a lot of encounters, there are a lot of waves in the encounters. There's actually quite a bit of traversal as well, and they're not easy fights. I mean, the Stygians might as well not exist sometimes, but these videos are not just an example to, not just a reason to show my gameplay, but they're also a chance to share my opinions. And I think, honestly, that's a little bit more important than the gameplay, even though I did, you know, try a bit for this. And this last wave, I remember the try before this one, the run before this one, I completely choked on this very last wave, and the butcher killed me. He got in 2 good hits when he really shouldn't have, and he murdered me, and I was really, really angry. And I don't get angry at games very often. I find it very difficult to get angry, just in general. But this made me angry for like, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then I was okay. But this fucking butcher, and you can see at the moment I'm choking a little bit. I'm aiming things in the wrong directions, and I'm not timing things right, and I'm going like, oh shit, and I think I just barely avoided jumping then when I was recording. And since then I've actually learned how to parry the butcher knives, because they're not as hard as they look to parry, just with the standard Y. But I've hit my stride now, and I've managed to get him into the air, and now I'm just gonna hit him with a few jump cancels, hit him with the killer bee and the stomp to interrupt him, hit him with a solar flare, and he's dead. And I'm thinking, oh shit, yay. This means that I can go down to the Imprisoner and fight him and probably take no damage, because Imprisoners are generally very easy. Generally. I will say now that this fight does not go well at all. I am not proud of it one bit, but this is the run that I got, and I got the triple S at the end, so I was fucking happy to get it. This annoys me. The Imprisoner, so you can launch him, and that's great, but if you don't keep him in the air, he starts this little bullshit fucking aura of rubble. He is invulnerable to harm at this point. He will attack you from off screen, and I'm ignoring the Stygians, which is a bit of a mistake, because I'm just focusing on the Imprisoner, and because I'm just focusing on the Imprisoner, I'm getting hit by the elite Stygians that are around. And look, he's already started up his bullshit aura again. And where did that go? Where did that piece of rubble go? Because other experiences, you could be on the other side of the fucking moon, and that piece of rock would hit you. It would hit you from nowhere. It would hit you from everywhere. But the only way to get it to not hit you is to parry it, or to dodge at the very, very last second. And that just doesn't happen. So, like I said, I'm not proud of this at all. Look how much fucking damage I'm taking. If this was any other Devil May Cry game, I deserve to be dead. And he started up his bullshit aura again. Fucking hell. I hate this fight, I really do. I hate the Imprisoners. I think they look amazing, I think they sound amazing. I think the design is really cool, really creepy actually. But, my god, they do not function well in the game at all. Just look at them go. You get hurt if you touch any of that red stuff. You get hurt if you touch him. He's got enemies with him, which is fine. But look how much health he has, and I'm just starting my doppelganger because I've got some Devil Trigger back, and then do an atomic to finish him off, and my god. Not a fan of the enemy. Thankfully they only appear twice in the entire DLC. Once at the end of this mission, and once at the end of the 6th mission. Which is also kind of bullshitty, but I think my fight in the 6th mission goes much better. I hope I can redeem myself in the next encounter with the Imprisoner. I think I do. It's actually been a while since I watched the Mission 6 footage, but I suppose that'll be an experience for me as well then. But thank you for watching. I'm aware I haven't actually talked much about the gameplay up until the Imprisoner part, which was embarrassing, but I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.